running out of ideas, but what I'm thinking of today is that volumetrics is really the whole meal. It's not just one item. So since I'm running out of ideas for entrees, I'm just going to show you a meal. Recently I was in Florida with my mom, and we had a couple of stir fries with the shirataki noodles while I was there, and that's what I'm going to make tonight. When I was with her, in case you're forgetting, here's a bag of the noodles. They come in different shapes. This one is spaghetti, and there's 2 servings in here. So I would prep these and then split them in 2 and actually have 2 frying pans going. We would have the same vegetables, onions, mushrooms, green peppers, red peppers, whatever you like, but she would have meat for her protein and I would not. So one time I made hers with pork and one's with chicken because that's what she had in the freezer, and I used whatever non-meat protein source I could find. Tonight I'm going to use onions, mushrooms, and I'm going to use Morningstar crumbles as my protein source. And I'm going to have yellow squash and Kabuka squash. 2 squashes, but they're from a different family. One is winter, one is summer. So that's the plan. The first thing to do with these shirataki noodles is to open the bag, drain them, rinse them, and then put them in a bowl of water and microwave them for 2 minutes, and then rinse them again very well. And then if you're only making dinner for 1, then split them in 2. So let me do that, and then I'll turn the camera back on. Okay, I heated my noodles for 2 minutes, and I rinsed them, and they're in this strainer here. Now I'm going to divide them in 2 and use them in my stir fry, but you add the noodles at the very end. For my stir fry, I've got some onions and mushrooms cut up over here, and I've got my protein, and I'm going to use onion powder and cumin, just what I grabbed, and I am going to simmer fry these. Should know that term by now. I'm putting my spices on the food instead of in the pan because I'm not using oil, and this tends to work better, and if it's not sticking the way you'd like, you can use some water to get your spices to stick to your food. Olive oil and similar monounsaturated or polyunsaturated oils are very healthy. It's better to use them on your food, though, than to cook with them for 2 reasons. One is that cooking with them you may use way more than you should, and though they're healthy, they are high in calories. And secondly, what is healthy about them sometimes disappears under heating conditions. So that's why I don't cook in oil, not because I don't believe in healthy oils. I have also already made 2 vegetables, as I said, to go with my dinner. The yellow squash I cut in oval slices, and I baked in my toaster oven. This is already cooked, but I just grabbed whatever Mrs. Dash spice I got my hands on, and I baked them, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, and turned them over and baked them again. And the Kabuka squash, which it's similar to butternut squash, but it's slightly different. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it's a little drier, it's a little more pungent. I'm doing a lot of cooking today. Over here is kale, you know, my favorite. So the Kabuka squash looks like this, but now this one's been cooked. So it's a little, has a little more lift to it. But I first punctured it a little bit, and then I baked it in the oven, I don't know how long, 20 or 30 minutes. Then I cut it open and scraped out the seed and put it on the cookie sheet and baked it a little bit longer. So this is how it looks cooked and with the seeds scraped out. So it feels starchy, like a potato, or yeah, like a potato, but it's not a potato, and it's much better for you. I should look on my list of vegetables to see where it scores, but probably pretty high for the nutrient value. So, when I'm ready to eat, I'm going to put my yellow squash and my orange squash on my plate and warm them up. And in retrospect, probably would have been better to have like one of the squashes in the kale, but that's not what I'm doing. So this would be the time you would add chicken if you were cooking with meat. Red meat should really be avoided. Even though I made my mom pork, it killed me, you know. And when I'm cooking mushrooms, I don't add the water, my simmer fry water, right away because I don't want slimy mushrooms, so I let them get a little bit brown on both sides. And you can add the protein like I said, and the water is the simmer fry. And when it gets close to the texture that you want it, then you will put the noodles on top, stir in the spices, maybe cover it and simmer it for a bit. I've got to separate my noodles before I throw them on there, and get my plate ready with my vegetables. And then I'm sure I'll have some fruit with my dinner as well. I have found out that I don't get enough fruit in a day, so I make sure I get that. Alright. As usual, any meal that I make for supper is between 150 and 200 calories. Okay, things are about done, so I'm probably going to go off camera for the rest of this. In case you're wondering, what do you do if you don't use the whole package of Shiritaki noodles? I put my other half in this used hummus container with water and then just use it within a week or so. So I've got my vegetables here that I'm going to put in the microwave. I'm going to bring the camera over so you can see how this little stir fry thing is simmering now with the noodles in it. And then maybe I'll show you the final plate. And vegetables to be heated. And simmer fry noodles with a protein source. Okay, here it is, and this should definitely look like a lot of food. The interesting thing is, it's not a lot of calories. So, a lot more than you would, not more volume than you would get in any kind of lean cuisine, or even a low-calorie meal that you might get at a restaurant. Is not going to have this much food. So cook it yourself, or just order carefully when you go out, because it may seem low calorie, but you need to make sure they're not putting stuff on it to make it high calorie.